Hi viewers, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to learn displacement reactions and double displacement reactions. See, suppose if you have a reactant A and you are reacting it with a reactant BC and it is reacting and forming AB and it is releasing C out, then this is an example of displacement reaction. See, what exactly happens here is A is displacing C from BC to form AB and releasing this C out. See, if A have to displace C from BC, it have to be more reactive than C. If A is less reactive than C, it will not displace C from BC. If it is more reactive than C, then it displaces C from BC and forms AB. See, this is called displacement reaction. In displacement reaction, a more reactive metal or a more reactive element displaces a less reactive element to form a new compound. Suppose, example is, if I am taking Zn and reacting it with CuSO4 and it is giving me ZnSO4 plus Cu. What happens here? Zn is more reactive than Cu. That's why this Zn displaces this Cu from CuSO4 and forms ZnSO4 plus Cu. Or if I am taking Zn and reacting it with FeSO4, now here what? See here, in this reaction, this Zn displaces Fe. This zinc displaces iron from iron sulfate and it forms zinc sulfate and releases iron outside. Suppose if I am taking ZnSO4 and reacting it with Fe, here no reaction takes place, because if the reaction have to take place, first the Fe should displace Zn from ZnSO4. But Zn is more reactive than Fe, which is iron. That's why here no displacement takes place, that means no reaction takes place. Now we will start double displacement reactions. See, now we are going to learn double displacement reactions. Suppose I have AB and CD, two reactants, and it is reacting and forming AD and CB. See, here what happens, in first I said you that a more reactive metal element displaces a less reactive element. The same thing takes place. What happens? This A displaces C from CD and forms AD. And what happens? This C takes place of A's place it will take and it will form CB. This is double displacement reaction. What happens? Double displacement takes place here. This is first displacement, second displacement, double displacement. Here, mutual exchange of ions takes place. Mutual exchange of ions takes place. Suppose, example is here. Suppose I am taking NaOH and I am reacting it with HCl. I am getting NaCl plus HOH. HOH means H2O, which is two hydrogens means H2 and single H2O. See, here what happens? Na displaces this H from HCl. And what happens? This H takes place any place it will take. This is one example of double displacement reactions. Now we will see types of reactions. See, see here in types of reactions we have two reactions. One is endothermic reaction and exothermic reaction. What is endothermic and what is exothermic? Suppose if I have I have AB and supplying some heat to that to form A and B. See, this is an example of endothermic reaction. What is endothermic reactions? The reactions in which the energy is supplied through sunlight or electricity or through heat. I will tell you in later. In this video, I will tell you later what are the thermolysis that are there. See, the reactions in which energy is passed they are called endothermic reactions. Suppose if I have A and B, I am reacting it. After reacting, I am getting AB less energy is released. See, this is an example of exothermic reactions. What is exothermic reactions? It is exactly opposite to endothermic reaction. In endothermic reaction, what is endothermic reaction? Reaction in which energy is supplied. In exothermic reaction, it is a reaction in which energy is evolved. See here. Suppose endothermic reaction example I have CaCO3 on heating it breaks into CaO plus CO2 and the process of photosynthesis also. See, CO2 plus H2O in the presence of sunlight it becomes C6H12O6 plus energy plus oxygen. This is an example of endothermic reaction. This is also example of endothermic reaction. What is the energy which I passed is in the form of sunlight. In exothermic reaction, example is, suppose I am taking potassium, which is K, and I am reacting it with H2O. This is a very dangerous reaction, and here in this reaction KOH will form plus H2 gas is also formed and energy is also released. That's why this is an example of exothermic reaction. And exothermic reaction, another example is respiration. What happens in respiration? The food which we take from plants, that is C6H12O6, and when we breathe in air, oxygen goes in and it breaks down it into CO2 plus H2O plus energy. This is also an example of exothermic reactions. And endothermic reaction example is also decomposition reaction is also an example of endothermic reaction. What is decomposition reaction? The reaction in which a single reactant breaks down into two products. This is decomposition reaction. If you want detail, please see my previous video. This is an example of endothermic reaction. Now, in endothermic reaction, there are three types. That is thermolysis, electrolysis, and photolysis. In thermolysis, what is thermolysis? See, thermo means heat supplied, and lysis means breakdown. Thermolysis means the reaction in which heat is supplied to break down. See, here also the same thing. Here example is that only. CaCO3 on heating gives us CaO plus O2. In electrolysis, see, in electrolysis what happens? Electro means supply of electricity. Lysis means breakdown. Here electricity is supplied to break down. See, here I have H2O and supplying electricity through it, and I am getting H2 plus O2. This is an example of electrolysis. Photolysis means, photo means supply of sunlight. Lysis means again breakdown. Here we will supply sunlight to break down. These all are the types of endothermic. Here the example is, see, here AgCl on supplying of sunlight, it becomes Ag plus Cl. See, this is silver. See, here in this reaction, silver chloride. In silver chloride, I am supplying one energy in the form of sunlight. That's why this is an example of photolysis. I am supplying sunlight, I am getting Ag plus Cl2. This is an example of photolysis. Now next, we will see redox reactions. See, thank you. Redox reaction I will tell you in the next video.